Hey guys, yeah, we're on the 650, the KZ, the Kawasaki. It's a 650 KZ650C, which means custom. But I'm on this thing for two reasons. Basically, it's once a month I like to take it out, and I don't know, I just felt like taking it out. I guess that's the other reason. I felt like just cruising. Like, I think I said this in my last video when I was talking about different bikes, and the triple is still my favorite bike. But the KZ is just a nice cruiser, and I just felt like cruising. And I know you don't compare it to a Fat Bob or a Fat Boy or a Sportster, any of those type of typical cruisers. But for me, it's a cruiser. And I don't know. I just wanted to take it out, go up to the lake for the once a month run because I like to keep this thing in decent shape. But you know, being an old bike with carburetors. Does sound good though. Being an old bike with carburetors and everything, when you start it up, you got to choke it. It usually starts up pretty quick. I don't usually have a problem with it. Sometimes one of the float blows will get stuck. The floats will get stuck in the carburetors, and you'll see it pour out the drain. Because these things have drains on each carburetor. If you guys, younger guys, aren't familiar with that, they have drains on every carburetor. A hose goes out of them. It's 4 carburetors, and then they go to the obviously, below the bike. And when the bike sits for a little bit, they tend to stick. But, so yeah, carburetor bikes are not always a lot of guys don't have problems, some guys do, but there's always some maintenance involved. The plugs tend to foul out more and stuff like that, but it's just part of I guess people would call it character, it's just the character of the bike. And, but I just felt like going for a cruise because, like I say, this bike doesn't beg you to go fast, even though I'm at my favorite drag strip, whatchamacallit. I'll get on a little bit, but that's probably only about, I would say about 85. But it's not really, it doesn't, you don't get thrown back in the seat. It's very easy to control. It's just a nice cruising bike. And I took the handlebars off that I had on it. You guys probably won't recognize the difference because I don't take it out much. But the handlebars were they called tracker bars. They were black. They were lower, more of a sporty feel, kind of like the street triple. And, but the bike is really not sporty. I guess in the day it was kind of sporty. But it's really not a sporty bike as far as the triple is concerned. And I wanted to be more relaxed when riding, and you tend to lean over, and the pegs are neutral. Your feet are kind of straight down. So it's definitely just more of a cruiser bike. They're mid pegs. They don't go back much. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought I would set it up pretty much like it was back in the day. There's a bunch of different things. I'm going to show you when I get off the bike. I'm going to go over the bike a little bit for you guys that are interested in the 650 and what I've done to it. And it's a project between me and my brother. And but it's a nice cruiser. Now I'll go over little things and the troubles that you have to go with it and what we did to it. 90% of it's period correct. But, I liken it to, I like to talk about other bikes, obviously, and I liken it to, and why I call it a cruiser is that, right now the speedometer's off about, 10% or something like that. It's way off. So right now I'm only cruising maybe 45, 50. But it's comfortable. The exhaust is a little bit loud because it's straight pipe with a small baffle in it. But it's really not annoying. And, but I'm comparing it to, I had a Sportster for a real short time, a 2007 883, nice looking bike, sounded good, but overall function of the bike was not very good. And it's amazing that this bike is 30 years older than that bike, yet in almost every metric, the KZ is better. And I'm not to knock Harley, I guess I am knocking them a little bit, but the paint was really nice. I did like the Sportster look. Very comfortable sit on. But the brakes sucked. It had no power. It rode like crap. It didn't handle worth anything. It was just something that you would look at. I mean, to be honest with you, it had a little bit of power compared to my KLX with only 300, but not much more. Yeah, on the highway would be a little bit better, but it didn't accelerate well. It was just, I don't know. I mean, to me, it was an absolute beginner bike. And it was just no comparison. Yeah, it did have the look, but so does this. This has that nostalgia look. Yeah, I guess that Sportster has a nostalgia look too, but this is so much more comfortable as far as, I can't say that it's more comfortable for a seating position or anything. I think they would say about that the same. I just think it's more functional. They shouldn't say that it does have passing power. I can go on the highway with this. I can pass and feel comfortable with it. And then has that, I think just because it's an old bike, it's cool. But what do we got here? Oh, what are we doing up over here? Anyway, yeah, so this is my cruiser. What I'm trying to say, this is my cruiser. I know it's not a Fat Boy, Fat Bob, and all those other different cruisers. Nothing like my Speedmaster. It doesn't, except for, the issues you have. Once I get it running and everything, if I rode it every other day, I think I wouldn't have a problem with the carbs. But when it sits, it just, maybe I just got to take them off and go over it. But it's just a fun cruiser bike. It doesn't beg you to go fast. And even though it's old, it's got that classic look, a really cool look, which I really love. And it's comfortable. It's comfortable. We got an aftermarket seat on it, which is firmer than the factory seat. But kind of like the look better. But okay, they're not going to ever clear this turn up with gravel. I don't know why there's so much stone on this. Anyway. Yeah, it's only a 5-speed, just like the Harley was a 5-speed. But yeah, so I'm just cruising on a nice day. It's supposed to have rain all weekend, so it's a Friday, and I just don't want to not ride. And like I said, once a month I like to take the bike out and go cruising, and I don't have to go super fast because it's not begging me to go fast. Just having fun. And when we get to the lake, I'll just give you a walk around of the bike. I know people have seen it, but I'm just going to do it again. And talk about this bike over like the Harley. This bike does handle a lot better, much more confident when you're in the turns. Although it's old bike with old type of tire, even though it's a radial tire, but there are 19s in the front, 18 in the back. It's almost like you take this bike anywhere. If you put like more an aggressive tire on it, I wouldn't have any problem going on dirt roads and stuff like that. I'm not talking about off-road stuff, but gravelly roads and stuff like that. I wouldn't. It'd be no problem. And I think that's, when the Japanese were designing these bikes, they wanted these bikes to be all-around bikes, just not sporty bikes. They wanted to be, you could take them anywhere, back in the 60s and 70s, lots of, all over the world. There was not a lot of paved roads. I mean, there are paved, of course there's a lot of paved roads, but there's a lot of dirt roads. And I think they just wanted it so you could take it anywhere. I mean, if you looked at the factory tire from back in the day, it was pretty aggressive in the back, especially in the back. All right, so we'll be there in a few minutes, and then I'll give you a walk around, short video, just fun, just riding on the KZ. Love my KZ650. I love the style, the nostalgia. It's cool. Okay, guys, we're here at the lake, and we'll just do a walk around, talk more about the KZ. But yeah, I'm going to do a walk around, show you different things I did to the bike. I know some of you guys have already seen this, but the guys that haven't. So here it is. 1977 KZ650C. So the C is got dual discs up front. These would be more silver. I painted them black. This is an add-on to give more stability for the forks, but this is all stock factory. These wheels would be silver or argent color, and I painted them black just for the look. And the fender would be chrome, and it would come down to about here, and then you'd have a brace to go here, which I thought kind of looked funky. So what I did was I cut the fender and painted it black. And basically everything you see on the bike is pretty much period correct. I'll tell you the things that are not period correct, but it's pretty much period correct what you would have done back in the day to make your bike different. The header would be chrome, and it would come out both sides. You'd have dual exhaust, and it would. This is like a Kirker. If anybody, you older guys are familiar with Kirker headers, that's kind of the style of the header. And this is by Delkovic, and it was the closest thing we could find to make it look like, nostalgia looking. And this thing did come with a center stand, but I don't have the center stand on. It will fit, I just haven't put it on. The rear brakes are factory, like the wheels. The tires are radials. I tried to keep the rear master cylinder, but I couldn't repair it. No matter what I did, it could just leaked. So I had to go aftermarket. That's why it's gold like that. This was aftermarket, but it's pretty close to the factory because it was totally shot. The switchgear, I had to rebuild this switchgear and painted it up. It's not as nice as let me go to the other side and show you the switchgear over here. As you can see, it's in really good shape. The sun, I guess, pounded this pretty good when it sat outside, whoever had it. And yeah, well, as you can see, 17,000 miles. And but the switchgear all works. I put I like these barrel grips. I had bar end mirrors with a different bar on it, handlebar, but it wasn't good for cruising. So I found these things on Amazon. They're real cheap. I had them laying around. I haven't found out the mirror I really like. So mirrors I really like, but it's very comfortable position. It's funny how you have to set that's the triptometer, and it's just you just kind of roll it. We did change the rear. The rear would have a fender that comes out to here, and this piece you see over here would bolt to it, and the fender would come out to here. Would be chrome. Took off the fender, tucked this underneath, kind of make it look, just a little neater. Kind of a tail tidy. The lights would be chrome and big and fat and round. And so I found some kind of period correct. Back in the day, the Z1s, Z1000s, or they had square ones with the real big. So I kind of found smaller ones that don't look too modern, but not too dated either. So, and those are kind of the things you do. And the seat is aftermarket. It's a company in Vietnam that makes them. And the seat's kind of cool with these things. And they give you the whole seat pan and everything, so you don't have to use your factory one. But what they do is, what's kind of cool about this is, yeah, it's all the hardware bolted to it, so it's nice. Your battery's here, everything is here. But I like the idea that you have these little helmet hooks, and so easy to get to everything. As you can see, there's a filter, and it's just kind of cool. It's a cool bike. It's got four-way flashes. Some of them don't have four-way flashes. I put LED bulbs in them. But yeah, cleaned it up as much as you could. It's really hard to clean the chrome, polished aluminum rather. Here's the carbs. We took the airbox out, had to have them rejetted. And one of them tends to stick, the flow sticks, and it'll flow out, if you let things sit too long. But here's the guys, if you don't know, for your younger guys, these are so if the float gets stuck and the fuel it doesn't flood out the motor, it just comes out to here, and it just runs out the back, down the side. So that's a nice little thing. And the paint, it's original paint. You'll see the patina, a little dent here, but it's really, really nice. It pops in the sun. It's got metallic. It's a 3. You'll see little nicks in here, stuff like that. But I wasn't going to change it because it's a daily rider. I mean, it's not a daily rider, but it's a thing I ride anytime I want. We had a big chrome brackets here to hold a light, and I went with some aftermarket stuff just to make it look cleaner. And I guess that's about it. I replaced the brake lines, rebuilt all the cylinders, wheel cylinders and all that stuff. The motor didn't need any work. It runs good. I do have to check the valves, but otherwise it runs really good. It's not fast, but it's just a good running bike. And yeah, I think it's cool looking. I really think it's cool looking, guys. And I've done this in the past, but I just felt like doing it again. You guys have any questions with the bike? Anything I've done to it? I get one question from a lot of guys that, not a lot, but about this petcock, that I had to go from an aftermarket one because the one that was it was a vacuum type one where the vacuum diaphragm always leaked, and so I went with this aftermarket one. But I can't for the life of me remember where I got it from. So any of you guys ask about it, I don't know where it was out in It was Oregon someplace, but I don't really remember. So, and that's it. I replaced the clutch in it. Painted, this was chrome. I painted that. Now, a lot of guys look at the bike. They said I should have left it totally stock and restored it back to original. But I wanted to restore it the way. This is how I learned on the ride. First bike I was ever on was this. My brother bought one like this, exact same color combination, exact same model, and I learned on it. And he made changes to it. Not 90% of the stuff he did to it back then is what we did to it now. And then I just embellished a little bit more. But yeah, it's I think it's a cool bike, and it's period correct, I think. I don't think I went too modern with it. And I know people want, but you got to make it yours. And it's just, like I said, it's a period correct bike. It's not a nut and bolt, 100% restoration, because that's me and my brother decided that's what we don't want to do. And it would have cost a fortune. You would have spent, you buy the bike for whatever you buy it for, $1,000, $2,000, and then you put another $5,000, $6,000 into it. We just put a couple more $1,000s into it, and it makes a bike that we like and we can ride. He doesn't ride as much as I do, but I like to ride, and I take this out once a month. If I can get my buddy that I just did the 750 Honda for to ride with me, we'd have these two nostalgia bikes that we just cruise around. We won't have to be hooligans and do stupid stuff like the new bikes. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I just felt like taking it out. I just think it's a cool bike. All right, guys, later.